If you feel like you're drowning in debt, there is hope. There actually is help in fixing your debt problems. You just need to know who to ask. Rebecca Johnson-Ellis and Jeremy Shepard are attorneys who specialize in helping people get a fresh financial start. Thanks so much for joining us today. Important information for a lot of folks, for a lot of people, a lot of families. Let's talk about what kinds of debt are we talking about here?
Well, it's usually personal debt that we deal with primarily, but there are certain signals that people may experience that would tell them it's maybe time to file bankruptcy. Some of the first one would be that if you're being sued by your debt collectors, that you may want to file bankruptcy at this time. Once you file bankruptcy, the bankruptcy affords you the automatic stay, which would prevent that proceeding from going forward. Another thing that you might experience is if your wages are being garnished, a bankruptcy would definitely stop those wages being garnished. That usually happens after a creditor gets a judgment against you. Also, the automatic stay would stop your property from being seized or bank account funds from being taken. Another signal is if you can't pay your bills. Usually this is due to loss of income, or maybe you're off work due to medical reasons. Bankruptcy could help you. This was kind of highlighted with the government shutdown of how so many people were having trouble, that they lived paycheck to paycheck, that they weren't able to pay their bills even after a few lost paychecks. Also, if you're in danger of losing your home, bankruptcy will help you retain your property. It stops the stops the foreclosure process from going forward. And we can help you enter into a repayment plan that would help you catch up those mortgage arrearages or the back payments. And then lastly, another signal that it might be time to file bankruptcy is if you have delinquent income taxes. Bankruptcy repayment plan can stop penalties and interest from accruing while you're in that repayment plan, which is something that you don't get if you don't file the bankruptcy.
Yeah, it sounds terrifying. The worst thing for someone to do is nothing at all. They really need to take action, and an important piece of it is finding an attorney who can help you navigate through, because there are different kinds of bankruptcies that we're talking about.
Right, and there's a couple of consumer bankruptcies. Generally, it's either Chapter 7 or Chapter 13. Chapter 13 would be a repayment plan, and Chapter 7, there's no repayment plan, but your options are kind of dependent on your unique circumstances. So we generally like to meet with people, go over their specific circumstances, determine what might be the most appropriate steps for reaching their goals. And a lot of people that are in debt wait a little too long beyond, trying everything. You might liquidate a 401k, things that, you can protect through a bankruptcy. And you really, once you start seeing some of those signs that Rebecca was talking about, it's kind of the time that you might want to reach out to an attorney to potentially discuss what those options might be.
So we talked about Chapter 7, and now we're looking at Chapter 13. The difference between the two?
Well, in a Chapter 13, that's where you can buy yourself more time to potentially get your house back on track if you're behind, stave off a foreclosure. Likewise, if you're behind on a vehicle payment, there's a way to restructure that through the Chapter 13. Similarly, along with the taxes that she mentioned, that's another way you can catch up your taxes, buy yourself more time with the government, not have to pay penalties, things of that nature that are really helpful.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the myths. I think people maybe just don't understand exactly what is involved and what's at stake here.
Well, one of the myths is that it's like a personal failing. Usually it's a catastrophic experience or circumstance that comes to light that requires someone to file a bankruptcy, and everyone has their own personal stories, and we understand that, and we're sympathetic to that. Also, that you won't lose your property if you file bankruptcy. The Bankruptcy Code does permit you to keep most of your assets and still get debt relief. Some people feel like they'll never have access to credit, which is not true. Usually you can rebuild your credit within a timely period to get credit again, usually about 1 to 3 years if you do everything correctly. And then lastly, that, filing bankruptcy is not simple. It's not just filling out a bunch of forms, but there is help available, and we'd be happy to be the ones that help them do that.
You hear a lot of ads of these different sort of overnight services. You are attorneys, and as I was looking on your website, I see that you have an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, which really speaks volumes for the kind of work and the integrity that your firm has.
Yeah, there's no one-size-fits-all for clients, and so we strive to take care of our clients and meet their unique goals. And we have a lot of local, unique, areas that we can meet with people. Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, Rapids, Lansing, even Big Rapids and Muskegon. So we try to meet with people one-on-one as opposed to, thinking you can do everything online or things of that nature.
And people who are interested should give you a call, and they can set up a no-cost consultation, which I think is really important if people are already in having such financial distress.
Yeah, we really just encourage people to give us a call. Even if they just have questions or want to explore their options, there's no obligation. It's just basically fact-finding, and then if we can help them after the consultation, then we can tell them how the process and how we can get it done for them.
Yeah, great information.
Yeah, and bankruptcy can help a lot of people. Sometimes it can't, but sometimes just being able to go through some of those things and unwind what the people's individual issues are, they can just, determine certain options that maybe bankruptcy is not the best option. So, it's a free consultation, doesn't cost them any money, and it's worth coming in.
Yeah, really important. Thanks so much for stopping by 8 West today.
Thank you.
Stay right there. More of 8 West when we come back. Don't go away.